In today's video, we're talking about doing our job interviews remotely on something like Zoom. So if you have a remote interview coming up soon and you would like some advice on the main differences between a remote interview and an on-site interview and how best to prepare, then this video will cover exactly that. Hey there, my name is Matthew, back again with another weekly video inspiring you ambitious people to succeed in your career. Okay, so you have an interview and it's over Zoom or MS Teams or something like that. Now please remember that the fundamentals of a job interview are exactly the same. Whether you're doing it remotely or on site, you need to prepare properly. If you're looking for a refresher on job interview preparation, I'll flash the info card above my head, and also I have a video that I'll link in the description box below. The world of recruitment is changing. 60% of hiring managers are doing their at least first round interviews remotely, so we need to be ready. There are two main differences between remote interviews and on-site. The first one is your ability to connect using emotion and body language. And the second one is there is now a requirement to prepare technically, whereas you could, previously just rock up and go, hey, I'm here for the interview. But different now. So I want to start with the points about your ability to connect. A remote job interview robs you of that opportunity to have a solid handshake, a warm embrace, a smile, things that would generally calm you down, what I would call environmental factors within the room. That will generally just put you at ease and help you settle down and settle into the conversation and the interview process. When you're sat in a room, subtle body language like a smile or a gesture or a giggle can be picked up upon and can certainly help change the atmosphere in the room to be a little bit more lighthearted and conducive to a good, fruitful conversation. This really isn't the case with a remote interview, so this isn't something that you can use to your advantage. And the other big thing is you don't have all your panelists sat in front of you with notepads interacting with you, so you've got no way to determine how you're doing. Sat in a room with people, you can see if they're following along and taking animated notes and listening and engaging, versus if they're drifting off and not really too interested in what you're saying and you don't really have their attention. You don't have that advantage in a remote interview. It's just sitting in front of a screen with a bunch of blocks. You have to talk and make it work. So, how do we adjust? First of all, bring your energy. Interacting as you would normally do in a conversation one-on-one with a person versus a camera is far different. You will come across as boring and dull if you just interact as you normally would. So, bring your energy, or as I would say, dial it up a few notches. The second thing I would suggest is be very intentional in the way you communicate. I hate it when you're on a remote conversation and there are communication overlaps where somebody's saying, were you done? You go. So be very, very intentional with the way you communicate. I suggest going at the conclusion of when you said something, I hope that answers your question, Jennifer, or something to that effect, where you make it clear that you are done speaking. Let's move on to the next question or comment. I also suggest here using the 5-second rule. So when somebody stops speaking, wait 5 seconds, and then when you've still heard no noise, then proceed to speak. This can also be quite effective. Speak loudly and clearly and enunciate. You may have sorted out your audio, but it isn't to say that your panelists have sorted out theirs. So you want to speak loudly and clearly to make 100% sure that everybody who's present in the interview can hear what you're saying clearly. This also portrays confidence, which is good, but just be careful not to become British, where you speak really, really loudly and deliberately to the people and they think that you think that they're crazy. These adjustments to how you interact will help you establish the connection that you want. However, all of this effort can be undermined if your technical preparation is inadequate. So I've got 7 quick tips to help you prepare technically for your remote job interview. Number 1, test your audio and camera, okay? A webcam is totally fine, and headphones are fine. People will tell you, oh, if you wear headphones, it's psychologically that you're hiding or you're being evasive. People take video calls all the time today. Headphones are normal. But if it is a concern, I suggest you use maybe AirPods or just a standard plug-in buds with a microphone. Audio is certainly more important than whether you have headphones on or not. So don't worry about being too fancy here. Remember, with your webcam, the dot is the person. So many people are not going to look at the dot, they're going to look at the people on the screen, and it's going to create this impression that you're not actually looking at them, you're looking slightly down. So make sure you're staring at the dot like I am now. The other rule of thumb, make sure that you can draw a straight line between the top of your laptop and the top of your head, okay? If your laptop is down here, you're going to look like this, you're going to have a double chin, and you're not going to speak properly. So make sure that you are sat up and that you're looking up and you have everything in a straight line. By the way, this is also ergonomically beneficial. In other words, good for your neck and back to have your laptop and your screens raised to the top of your head. Make sure you can trust your internet connection. Trust me, this can just about lose you the job. If you've got intermittent Wi-Fi issues and your internet's cutting in and out, or it's starting to, you're getting static and that sort of stuff, it is going to put people off really, really quickly. If your office is in a part of the house which is maybe a little bit far away from the router, get yourself an Ethernet cable. I wouldn't suggest getting a booster because they bring tons of new radiation into your house. An Ethernet cable is great, it plugs straight into the router and it's massively effective. Avoid background noise and distractions. If you can, make sure the kids are out of the house, wink wink, nudge nudge, that there isn't just noise and things that could potentially detract from what you're trying to say. So make sure you control your external environment in preparation for your interview. Make sure the camera shot behind you is clean and devoid of all clutter. You don't want to create a bad impression by having junk and sort of weird things lying behind you. Remember, this is a professional job interview, so as cool as your Marvel poster of the Hulk might be, it isn't something that people need to be seeing in the background of your job interview. All right, lighting. Open your window so you can be lit by natural light. Just make sure that the window is in front of you, not behind you. Don't worry about ring lights and this sort of rubbish. Rather move your office to a room in the house which has natural light, because if the company is interviewing you remotely, it stands to reason that there may be a remote work requirement from time to time, and therefore you probably need to gear yourself to just be sitting in a well-lit room. You don't want to be relying on ring lights and artificial lighting for something that has a relative degree of permanence. And why spend money for an interview which we don't actually do that often? So natural light is certainly the way to go. It's just easy and the best, and the last time I checked, they haven't sold out of the sun. And my last technical tip is dress neatly and presentable. Guys, this is a job interview. Yes, you're sitting at home, but don't pitch up in your pajamas. Make sure that you look the part. Look, you don't need a suit and tie, but just make sure that you dressed as if you were at the office in a relatively smart, casual way. Good luck in your remote interview. I hope these tips were helpful. If they were, please leave a like on the video. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and I will see you soon.